In this tutorial, I'll show you how to compare different lavaan models, that is, CFAs, SEMs or path models, using the GORICA approach. If you use SEM or CFA, often you have different possible models you would like to compare. The traditional way to do this is using the likelihood ratio test or chi-square difference test, but this test has some serious drawbacks. First, you can only compare nested models. But in many cases, the most interesting comparisons are between models that are not nested within each other. The second drawback, the outcome of a likelihood ratio test is highly dependent on the sample size, because a larger sample size increases the power of the likelihood ratio test. So if you use the likelihood ratio test to compare two nested models, even given the same relationship in the data, the results may differ depending on how large your sample is. And the third problem, you only get a binary choice. Either one model is rejected or not. But there is an alternative to that, and it's called GORICA, Generalized Order Restricted Information Criterion Approximation. It's a generalization of the AIC, the Akaike Information Criterion, and you can use it for nested models and for models that are not nested within each other. And this GORICA approach allows the comparison of two or more competing models, and it will provide relative evidence for those models. So it won't just say this model is better than the other, but also how much better this model is. And it's quite easy to implement in R with a restriktor package. First, we need to load the two packages, restriktor and lavaan. I will demonstrate this approach with the CFA, but the same logic applies to SEM or path analysis. I use an inbuilt dataset, Holzinger-Schweinfurt, and here we have 9 cognitive subtests that should form 3 different factors. And we will test different competing hypotheses about the relationship between these items and these factors. Here's our model. We have a 3-factor CFA with 3 items for each factor. 1 factor visual, 1 textual, 1 speed. We have 1 error covariance, and we have covariances, or in the standardized case, correlations between the latent factors. And you can see I have used labels. I've used labels for the loading, and I've used labels for the covariances or correlations. And the reason for that is we need those labels later on for our model comparisons. So if you want to use GORICA, you just specify your lavaan model, CFA, SEM, path model, but for all parameters that you want to use later on in your model comparisons, you need to multiply them from the left-hand side with a label, because only with those labels we can compare those models later on. Let's estimate this model. First, we should make sure that we have an acceptable model fit. The model test is significant, that's quite normal. We have a CFI of 0.966, that's good. An SRMR of 0.047, that's good. And the RMSEA 0.066 is, I think, at least acceptable. And all the later model comparisons will be based on this CFA result. Let's start with our first model comparison. Here we want to compare different assumptions for the correlation between the two factors visual and textual. This is the correlation, 0.457. And let's say we want to compare 2 possible model restrictions. One, that this is a medium-sized effect, that is an effect between 0.3 and 0.5. And the second one, that this is in fact a large effect, that is an effect larger than 0.5. Before we do that, there are 2 recommendations for setting up those hypotheses. First, you should primarily use inequality constraints and not equality constraints, because equality constraints are basically point estimates that are almost never exactly true. The second recommendation, you should try not to use overlapping hypotheses. Here they are not overlapping because they are mutually exclusive. But if we had put in as a second hypothesis 1b that the correlation should be larger than 0.40, then we would have an overlap because the region between 0.40 and 0.50 would be included in both hypotheses. And that leads to interpretation problems. So those 2 rules, inequality constraints and non-overlapping hypotheses. Let's compare those 2 possible restrictions for our model. For that, we set a seed value to get the same results each time we run the analysis with the data, and then we use the GORIC function. Here is the result from our CFA. If you run a SEM, here would be the result for your SEM. And here is a list of the hypotheses, the first one and the second one, and I would like to compare standardized values. Let's run this. The good thing with this package, you get not only a table, but you get the main results even in sentence form. First conclusion, the hypothesis 1a, that was the correlation between point 30 and point 50, is the best in the set, as it has the highest GORICA weight. Here are the 3 GORICA weights for the first hypothesis, for the second hypothesis, and for the unconstrained model, that is for a model without any inequality constraints. And we see 1a is the highest value. The second thing, since 1a has a higher weight than the unconstrained hypothesis, it is not considered weak. That is important because if the unconstrained hypothesis had the highest GORICA weight, then we couldn't trust 1a or 1b. So now we can, since we know that the unconstrained isn't the best, we can compare the 2 constrained models with each other. This comparison is here. We have 67.5% support for 1a, that is correlation between point 30 and point 50, and 32.5% support for 1b, that is correlation between those 2 factors is larger than 0.5. And looking at those 2 numbers, the support for 1a is about twice as large as for 1b, which is shown here. So in this case, this correlation here is probably a medium-sized correlation between point 30 and point 50, but we can't be really sure because the support for this assumption that it's medium-sized is only twice as high as the assumption that it's a large correlation. So we probably need additional studies in order to be sure whether this is medium or large in the population. Second example, in this case, I'm interested in the loadings. Here are the standardized loadings for the first factor, for the second and for the third. And at least at first glance, it looks like the second factor textual has the highest loading. Let's use GORICA to estimate how sure we can be of this, that really those loadings are on average higher than for visual and speed. Here I only have one hypothesis, but this hypothesis contains 2 inequality constraints. So one hypothesis with 2 constraints. One is here, that the average loading for text is larger than the average loading for visual. And the second one, separated with a semicolon, that the average loading for text is larger than the average loading for speed. The rest is the same, setting a seed value, using the fit object. Here our list only contains one hypothesis. So here we have just the comparison between this restricted model, where the second factor has the highest average loadings, compared to its opposite. And here the GORICA weights are quite clear, 1 for our model and 0 for the other possibility. And down here you can see that this model is about 1 trillion times more likely than its complement. So yes, we can be quite sure that the second factor, textual, has the highest average loadings. If you need a source for this kind of approach, or if you want to know more about how GORICA works, this is a basic journal article that introduces and explains this method. That's it for model comparisons with GORICA and lavaan. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.